Well, Paul Warhurst is again handed the job of leading Sheffield Wednesday's attack in the absence of their two prolific strikers, David Hurst and Mark Bright, both injured. And forming a new partnership with Warhurst is teenager Chris Bart-Williams, who filled the role for the first time in Saturday's 2-0 win at Chelsea. Skipper Nigel Pearson again has to be content with a place on the subs bench. No worries up front for Ipswich. Chris Kiwomya, who was once rejected by Wednesday, has 15 goals this season, including 6 in this competition and 1 in the 1-1 draw here in the league. Ipswich stick with the side that halted Manchester United's gallop on Saturday, which means John Walk and Mick Stockwell again fail to make the starting lineup. One of the game's most experienced officials, Vic Callow from Solihull, is in charge. These are two sides with ambitions of the treble this season. The League, the FA Cup and the Coca-Cola Cup, both are still involved in all three. Sheffield Wednesday awaiting a home tie against Southend United in the FA Cup, and Ipswich will meet the winners of Grimsby Town and Swansea City. Sheffield Wednesday in the blue and white stripes. Ipswich are all in white tonight. And Wednesday have the first free kick. Flat from Woods, and it might just give Ipswich a chance to use Kiwomya's pace for the first time. Johnson just can't keep that one on. Here's Worthington, who won an award this year as the Northern Ireland Sports Personality of the Year. Waiting out on the touchline, skipping in outside the first challenge, then takes it back from Sheridan. Good approach play. Harks can hit them. Well, he can, but he didn't on that occasion. The goal scorer last Saturday at Stamford Bridge. This wasn't one of his better efforts, the American. His last goal in this competition was that spectacular effort at Derby. He never threatened to beat Baker. Johnson got a flick on it. Now Woods will have to clear with his foot as Kiwomya comes to challenge him. Thompson met it, and Kiwomya, as so often happens now, was yards offside. Well, it's very well read by Linnigan. Wilson comes into it, finding Bart-Williams. The hallmark of the Ipswich game is hard work, and they certainly worked hard to win the ball back there. Good cultured ball from Nielsen, releasing Waddle up the middle, and he might have to do it all himself here, and he's brought down 6-7 yards outside the Ipswich penalty area. Protests led by Linnigan. Waddle's such a difficult man to stop, of course. He jinxed this way and that, and Linnigan might have had some justification in his complaint. A shake of the head tells you he certainly doesn't agree with Mr. Callow's decision. Sheridan can be adept at these situations. Baker hopping around on his line. Let's see if Sheridan can place it. He can, but it did trouble Baker in the end. He palmed it down with Bart-Williams advancing on him and just fell on it in the nick of time. Useful free kick without totally being venomous. Giselle trying to pick out Johnson, but Nielsen had come in field. He saw what was on there. It was intelligent play from the Swede. Waddle's ball brought down by Warhurst. Bart-Williams tussling for it. Yallop clears, but only as far as Harks. Clever play by the American, finding Bart-Williams now. Curls it back down left. Here's Harks with the ball in. Warhurst stretching. Bart-Williams shooting. Sheridan missing, and Thompson clearing. That was a bit helter-skelter in there. Wednesday trying to pep it up. Infield comes Worthington now. Williams little triangles Wednesday, and they do it so effectively. I think a longer ball from Worthington, not met with a convincing header by Thompson. And Williams almost caught by Warhurst, has to play it back. Kozinowski, good ball down the line, finding Kiwomya. Trevor Francis has warned Wednesday about the pace of Kiwomya being their most potent weapon. Richie Barker has seen plenty of Ipswich this season and has been rapping the messages to his players about what is required tonight. And Waddle starts things off from the right back position. Ipswich beat Wigan, Portsmouth and Aston Villa on their way to this stage. Sheffield Wednesday disposed of Hartlepool, Leicester and Queen's Park Rangers. The glut of goals, 7 against Leicester, 4 against QPR, but none as yet tonight. They're on the attack. Bart Williams, good ball through, a chance for Harks now. Coming inside, John Harks, the shot. And the flag had already been raised, so it would not have counted. But I'm sure Clive Baker was delighted nonetheless to make the stop. Harks has probably had the only 3 shooting chances of the night. Whipped it in, Baker was down to it, but the flag was in. Away goes Palmer, he races on through the middle. And long legs of his just eat up the ground, and now it's Nielsen, and they've 2 men. Inside the area is Warhurst, goes down under the challenge there. There were anxious looks towards referee Callow, particularly from Phil Whelan. But I think that was a fair decision by the referee. Although he's being booed. Let's have a look at it now. Nielsen's ball in here. And there's the challenge, which I don't think was worth a penalty. Of course, we had 3 controversial incidents in the first meeting at Portman Road, where Ipswich won a late penalty when Genchev was brought down. 2 earlier appeals having been rejected. And that is a free kick, and Wilson is going to be spoken to, and Shirtliff is coming to the referee, and I know exactly what he's saying to him, because they did accuse Genchev in the first match at Ipswich of diving, not only for the penalty but in a couple of other incidents. And a lot of the Wednesday players have things to say to the Bulgarian. Now let's have a look. He's got the free kick. He's gone down there. And then as the ball is kicked away, does Wilson stamp on him or not? I'll leave it to you to make up your minds. Tony Wilson, one of the most seasoned pros in the games. And interesting that Mr. Callow did have a word with Genchev. I doubt he speaks Bulgarian, Mr. Callow. Genchev has mastered the odd word of English now. A free kick there towards Linnigan. Chances really at a premium. Kiwomya. This looks more promising. It's Wednesday's Waddle through the middle. Bart Williams. There's a lot of white shirts surrounding Wednesday as soon as they get into possession in good positions. It's been held up nicely. Here's Waddle. Again, he can't play a meaningful ball in. Intelligent play by Nielsen, however. Wilson, Worthington on his left. There's a bit of time to size things up now, and he thumps the shot in and over. Nigel Worthington, an infrequent goal scorer for Wednesday. He's got 3 this season. Another underneath that effort. Sheridan's pass to Worthington, it was a good one too, and here now Bart Williams trying to escape the attentions of Linnigan and find Harks, who thumps one in. That's a good effort. It was rising all the way really, but Harks is always willing to try his luck. He's got such confidence in those boots of his, and it steeples over the top. Mick Given's done an excellent job since taking over as the manager of Ipswich Town in harness with John Lyle. Parks, he looks the most dangerous player for Wednesday. Gets the cross in, whips it towards Warhurst. Good clearance again by Whelan. Worthington might have a dip. He does. And it warms the palms of Baker. And straight away the goalkeeper found Blackburn Rovers down the left. And this now Johnson. Kiwomya afforded no space at all, but he does find some for Williams, who might have had a shot. Played it wide to Bozinowski. Up. Kiwomya. Trying to turn Palmer. Yallop instead. Round to Gareth Williams. Johnson. Ipswich have people inside the area, and here's a free header for Dizelle. Held on his line by Chris Woods. The first real opening that Ipswich Town have created. And Jason Dizelle, who's had to wait a long time for a goal in this competition. He's certainly due one. His last one was back in November 1988. And we're coming towards half-time. With nothing to choose between these sides, although Wednesday have had all the possession. Mark Williams. He'd love to get a goal before the break. And here's Wilson, who'll try a shot. It's a good shot. Straight into Baker's midriff. Keeper's positional play exemplary. Wilson puts everything behind this shot, and he could have been unsighted, but he stood his ground. It's up to Kiwomya. And then Williams. Returning the compliment with a longer ball, and now Kiwomya can use his pace. Good tackle. It's a corner though. It's taken virtually the entire half for Ipswich to win their first corner. So there would certainly be an irony now if they scored, after soaking up all the Sheffield Wednesday pressure. Thompson swings them in with his left foot. Woods will be rest on his goal line, I'm sure, here, with the 6'4" Whelan in there. And this looks a dangerous one, and Whelan was there for it, but Nielsen just behind him. Centre-back failed to get a touch, disappointingly from Ipswich's point of view. Wednesday brought it out. On goes Harks now. Bart Williams, maybe one last thrust before the half-time whistle. Roland Nielsen, and he's tried to lob it over the top of Baker, who uses his fingertips to keep the scores level. Nielsen was a scorer in the last round against Queen's Park Rangers, and I'm sure he meant this. It's an audacious attempt at a chip, and Baker's only 5'9", he had to extend himself. Waddle's corner, near post. There's the flick back from Shirtley. Header out effective. And that's even more effective from Bozinowski. And it's half-time at Hillsborough. A half of very few chances indeed. John Harks has had a couple of shots. Clive Baker's been equal to everything for Ipswich Town. At the other end, there's just been one Jason Dizelle header. All to play for in the second half. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich Town 0. We're underway in the second half. 0-0 the score. I said at the start that matches between these two are always keenly contested. Not much between them. They've had 3 successive draws. Organised performance by Ipswich so far, but here's a ball in which just find Warhurst from Waddle. The corner conceded by Whelan. First corner of the half. And Waddle's taking it quickly as well. Got it back from Worthington. Here's the ball in, which doesn't stretch Baker. Too close to the former Barnsley keeper, who had over 300 pounds with the South Yorkshire club. Nielsen, who seems to have overcome a little rap on the ankle he had in the first half. Phil Whelan really has come on at the heart of Ipswich's defence. And he'll be defending again now as Waddle, edge of the area, floats it in. Hooked out by Linnigan. And it's entirely predictable, this game at the moment. But remember, if the scores are level after 90 minutes, we then go into extra time. But unlike the other competitions, this one can go on ad infinitum. We have another replay if they're still level after extra time. And that replay would be next Wednesday evening, either at Ipswich or here at Hillsborough. Warhurst has got the ball inside the area. Bart Williams now tucks it back towards Wilson, cleared by Whelan once more. He really is in the thick of it in the early moments of the half. So is Waddle. Just looking for that one telling ball in which might unlock the Ipswich door. Here's another ball in, and Hart's coming for it, and it flicked off the top of his head. Goal kick. There it is, the ball in, and Hart's unable to direct it as he would have wanted. Nielsen. Left-footed ball. Whelan's coming through a searching examination very well. It's such a congested area in the middle, so little space. Bart Williams couldn't get away from Whelan, but he has played it down the right wing channel. Waddle now, it needs a good ball in, and it's not quite good enough. But credit again to Ipswich for funneling back so quickly. Linnigan knocked it out once more. Bart Williams, his chance to play it in maybe. Nielsen turning, whipping it through. Warhurst, it needs a touch. Warhurst scores for Wednesday. Just the early goal, the second half demanded to light this tie. Lovely ball through from Nielsen. Warhurst clipped it past Baker with all the composure of a regular goal scorer. Warhurst's 7th of the season, and again the gamble to play him up front has paid off. 1-0 Wednesday for Warhurst. Kiwomya. It's not well directed, however. Hart sets off. Rather overrun the ball, which gives Kiwomya the chance to come back at Wednesday now. They've got men around, but Johnson is there picking it up. Now Williams. Ipswich building down the right. Yallop's cross in, not bad. Headed out, however, by Shirtliff. Dezelle. Now Thompson. Johnson has stayed out wide. Kiwomya's onside. He tries to thread his way through. Oh, and it was allowed to run, and Williams clattered it straight at the ankle of Hart. On the break, it goes to Bart Williams. Ipswich get back so quickly. Waddle's trying to make a break up the middle. Waddle back for Bart Williams. Warhurst in the middle. Bart Williams right across the face of the Ipswich goal, and it misses by no more than a foot. Well, Bart Williams has got his share of goals this season, 5 of them, and he was close to a half a dozen here because Waddle played it beautifully into his path, right across Baker's goal, and it flashes past. And they don't come much closer than this. But Ipswich needs somebody on to score goals at the moment. They defend again. Waddle, deep ball in, and it's put behind as it had to be by Yallop. Ipswich just can't get out their own back door at the moment, and this is a lovely ball in from Waddle, very, very deep, but Yallop had to put it out. Sheridan to Bart Williams. They've 4 men inside the penalty area. So it wasn't a good enough pass. pass. The Ipswich passing game has not been at its best this evening. He's managed to get away, having lost his boot. I think he was distracted there. He played not a very good ball, and it's opened things up for Sheridan, maybe. Well, he should have done, but it's past a Waddle. Doesn't have any power on it at all. And Thompson brings it out. Well, Genchev is still putting his boot back on. Now Kiwomya, he's got the pace to unhinge Wednesday, and he's got the turn as well. And he's still here. Chris Kiwomya did well, but he just ran out of. So this is Stockwell now for Williams. We've seen more of the ball in this half. He tries to get in there as Worthington plays it into the sky. Johnson. Ipswich are lacking a bit of inspiration at the moment. Thompson, and here's a chance, and Woods makes the save from Genchev, but he was offside. And the Bulgarian looking somewhat disconsolate here. Woods had made the stop effectively anyway. Rather anxious looks, I think you would say, on the Ipswich bench. Oh dear, they've put that one straight in the air, and it's interesting that John Walk was the closest man to it. John Walk playing in a very advanced position since he came on, and it was Walk who got in that shot. And maybe if he'd been on the field a little bit longer, he might have been more into the pace of the game and able to steady himself. It comes to him when he least expects it, I think, and hooks it well wide. Peter Shirtliff wouldn't be too happy about that, though it was, of course, his concession of the penalty late on at Portman Road that created this replay. Shirtliff's had to hook the ball straight in the air again, and suddenly Wednesday are putting themselves under a bit of pressure. And part of that is down to the two substitutions, that is for certain. With Stockwell and Walk coming on, Ipswich are changing things around a little bit, and maybe it's confusing Wednesday. Here's Kiwomya inside the area, lays it back. Here's Walk's shot. It's gone wide, but at Ipswich now getting themselves back into the game. They've less than 20 minutes to save it, but that's two shots from John Walk in 2 minutes. Ipswich are now finding space where none existed previously. Dazelle has knocked it down with a last-ditch clearance by Palmer. And suddenly the game is the other way around as Ipswich go on and get a free kick. It's now Wednesday who are trying to hit Ipswich on the break, and Ipswich who are pouring everything into attack. Walking Yallop are there, and Manchester United will tell you that Yallop can hit a ball. And they're leaving it for Thompson instead, and it took a deflection, and Woods got his fingertips to it as well, otherwise Thompson would have equalised. Well, Thompson has scored on this ground this season, but an own goal in the 1-1 draw. It took the deflection off Worthington, which could have totally confused Woods. Woods didn't get a touch, it was a corner off Worthington. Corner for Ipswich, and these are dangerous. In comes Linnigan again, and that one's over the top. Sheffield Wednesday fans going through a little bit of anguish now. I think Trevor Francis and Richie Barker have recognised the need to bolster the defence, as well as that Bart Williams is carrying a knock. He got that rap on the ankle from Linnigan, so Bart Williams is replaced by Nigel Pearson. There were four such experienced substitutes in a game as Mickey Stockwell, John Walk, Nigel Jemson and Nigel Pearson. And only Jemson has not yet been called upon. There's a good ball for Warhurst to chase. Oh, he nearly profited as it came away off Linnigan's ankle. Now it's Sheridan. Here's Warhurst. He can wrap it up for Wednesday. Great save by Baker. Warhurst knows that that could have led to Sheffield Wednesday claiming their place against Blackburn in the semi-finals. Sheridan's ball. Warhurst with the left foot, it was well placed, but Baker at full stretch denied him. This is excellent goalkeeping. And the man who denied Manchester United in the last minute. Ipswich have only time for one more concerted effort. Thompson to Kiwomya, nice little flick. Johnson, Gavin Johnson, could he be the saviour of Ipswich? There's a push on him. An unnecessary push by Nielsen. Johnson wins the free kick for Ipswich, and we've already passed the 90-minute mark. And something was said by Carlton Palmer, which may incur a booking. He was holding the ball. He was holding the ball, he says, and did not give it back to Ipswich. So referee Callow will book him for ungentlemanly conduct, I imagine. In the very last minute. Indeed, in time added on. Are we in for yet more drama at Hillsborough? I would say that Ipswich have to score from this. Otherwise the sands of time will be evaporated. It's played short. Dizelle, Kiwomya. Oh, Woods managed to stop it with his feet. The ball is cleared. Wednesday fans raise their arms. Baker has come to the centre circle to play it forward again. But Wednesday, their fans think they're through. They're not yet. Here comes Thompson again. Tremendous run by Thompson, a surging run, but it's a goal kick. Kiwomya's almost on the touchline, telling his lads to calm down and get on with the game. Still the eyes are cast on the referee. All Sheffield Wednesday fans want now is the final whistle. It's going to be Sheffield Wednesday against Blackburn Rovers in the semi-final of the Coca-Cola Cup. Delight for Trevor Francis there. And totally justified in his selection of Paul Warhurst in attack. Warhurst's goal in the early minutes of the second half separates the sides and knocks out Ipswich Town at the second attempt. It's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Ipswich Town 0, and Sheffield Wednesday take another step on the road which led to them winning this competition 2 years ago. Wednesday 1, Ipswich 0.
Paul, to say you don't like playing up front, you're not doing too badly.
No, I'm pleased the goals are going in, and the main thing is that we're winning.
I mean, how serious is this, the fact that you don't really like playing up there?
Obviously, my natural position is at centre-back, but we've got a few injuries. Bright is out and Hurst is out at the moment, so I'm filling up front, and I'm quite pleased with myself.
Now, all strikers love to see the goals they've scored, so I'm sure you'll be only too happy to talk us through this one tonight.
Yeah.
Good ball from Roland Nielsen.
Yeah, I mean, he's got great vision. He's seen me sort of pull behind him. The keeper, I think, committed himself, and luckily it's gone in the back of the net.
Taken like a veteran was this one. One nice clip, that's all it needed though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was in two minds whether to chip it but I put a little bit of pace on it, and it was nice to see it going.
How much would it mean to you to go to Wembley as a manager?
Well, when you start off as a player, that's your dream, you know, to get to Wembley as a player. You know, it is the same as the manager, whether it's the Coca-Cola Cup or the FA Cup. You know, it'll be a terrific experience, but you know, let's get past Blackburn first, because you know, they're a very good team.